Hey everyone, my name is Anna. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to explore the topic of feeling lost, and specifically, what are some of the ways that being an INFP type can contribute to this experience. So when I talk about feeling lost, I'm talking about feeling a lack of clarity, a lack of direction, a lack of certainty. In other words, feeling vague and confused and directionless. So the first question, when we experience feeling lost, are we really as lost as we think we are? I think that as INFP types, there are a couple things that can be going on that we may think is an experience of feeling lost, but isn't really that. The first thing is, because we are so driven by our internal truth, our internal values, we're individualists. I think a lot of the time what might be going on for the INFP type is not so much that we're lacking clarity. What's actually going on is that we are the carvers of our own paths. We're traveling the road less traveled, right? What may actually be needed is just the courage and the determination and the resilience to walk forward on a path that's not carved yet, that we have to carve ourselves. The second area that we may assume is feeling lost but may not be is the question of direction. I think that socially, most of the conversations around direction are about moving forward, a direction forward. But as I perceive reality, there are many, many directions that are not forward. So if we're hyper-focused on forward movement, we may feel like we're lost, when in fact what's going on is that there's another direction at play, a more important, crucial direction that wants to be moved within. And here are three of the directions that I have found to be very true about life that are not forward. There's the direction of relationship that I see as like the infinity symbol. So there's this figure 8. The direction of the infinity symbol I consider to be an important direction in life. The second direction that I consider to be very important is the direction of expansion. So this is like a circular direction. It's not going forward, it's going all around in a movement of expansion. And the third direction that I think is super important and incredibly true is the direction of spirals or cycles. Like, you know, we're focused on this sort of linear direction that's incredibly imbalanced. It's just like this one tiny part of how things move in life. Things don't move just forward. Things move in cycles and in spirals. Things move in expansion. Things move in relationship. And also, for the INFP, oftentimes the direction that we're most called to move in is actually backwards or towards our internal life. So we may feel lost if we're focused on the direction of forwardness, but actually we're not lost if we're focused on the internal movement that we need at that time or any of the other directions that I just named. But there are a few ways that I think we can genuinely experience a lack of clarity and direction and this experience of feeling lost as INFPs. And I want to look at particularly an imbalance that can occur between our dominant function and our inferior function, and how that can really start to confuse us. So dominant function, introverted feeling; inferior function, extroverted thinking. I think the first imbalance that can occur is with overusing extroverted thinking. How can an imbalance occur with extroverted thinking for the INFP? Well, I think if we start to overuse it in the sense that we're kind of denying our true nature because of whatever's happening circumstantially or externally, that's kind of suppressing what we would do naturally or not encouraging it, not acknowledging it, there's no space for it, which can easily happen when you're an INFP. We might turn to extroverted thinking to really try to like adapt and become more of what we think we should be. If you're overusing your inferior function because you don't fundamentally think you're allowed to be who you are, or you're ashamed of it, or you're scared of being who you really are, and you overuse extroverted thinking, I think what happens for the INFP is you kind of lose your soul, right? You lose your heart, you lose your spirit, you lose your spark, because our dominant function gives us the gift that we have of this capacity to form these internal value systems and to express those in our life, which is where our heart is, it's where our passion is, it's where we feel most alive. If we're overusing TE, I think it's really going to kill our hearts and spirits. And I think that we can genuinely become quite lost and really start to lack clarity because we no longer are speaking to the truth of who we are, and we're no longer expressing our natural way of being. Secondly, if we're imbalanced in the other direction, if we're overusing our dominant function at the expense of all the other functions just because it's the easiest, because it's come so naturally, so introverted feeling, we're going inside of ourselves, and the imbalance would be that we're just staying inside of ourselves. We're not really moving. We're stuck inside our emotional body. We're stuck with our value system. We don't want to be flexible on anything and meet the world and basically hide in our internal world. I think can also lead to genuinely feeling a lot of lack of clarity and direction, because life is movement. We're not meant to stay in one place. So if we get stuck in introverted feeling, we're also going to be starting to feel a lot of loss of clarity and direction. So what are some of the ways that we can regain a sense of clarity and direction when we are experiencing feeling lost? First of all, as pertains to the first part of the video, if we think we're feeling lost, but actually what's going on is that we are in charge of carving our own pathway, there may be a shift in perception that can just help us remember that what's actually going on is not that we are lacking clarity, it's that we have work to do because we have to carve our own path. So that's the first thing. Secondly, we may be thinking we're feeling lost because we're focused on moving forward or the direction of forwardness, when in fact in life there are many directions at play that need to be honored and that exist whether we like it or not. So shifting our perception, helping us to see what direction is needed at the time. Whatever it is, it may not be forward. So we may regain clarity just by remembering that forward is not the only direction to go in. But if we are experiencing an imbalance that's causing us to substantially lose clarity and direction, there are some things that I've observed that I think really work to regain energy and clarity. And it's mostly this. I think that the INFP is guided by our internal value system. It's something intangible that we have constructed internally based on how we feel about things. I have found that if I put extroverted thinking in service to my values, that is the best way for me to gain clarity and energy and movement and direction. For me, introverted feeling is focused on essence, and extroverted thinking, you could say, is focused on form. So I think as INFPs, it really serves us well to put form in service to essence, because essence is what we care about. We care about the intangible values. We care about the intangible experiences. Putting any kind of structure to help express and expand upon and build and externalize our value system that we care so much about is an incredible way that I have found to regain clarity, to regain direction, and to create things tangibly. So I hope this was a helpful video, INFPs, that you have some food for thought around the area of life that is feeling lost, that has so many layers. Much love, and I'll see you next time.